Hi guys, you're going to have to excuse the runny face mascara. For some reason I didn't think to put on waterproof mascara today, and yeah, I cried a lot at End of Time Part 2, which this is my review of, and we'll obviously have a lot of spoilers for End of Time Part 2, the Doctor Who episode that aired today at 6:40 PM, and David Tennant's last episode. I actually thought it was a really well written episode. It was so hard because I was really excited for it, but then I also just really didn't want it to happen. It actually reminded me a lot of the way I felt before reading the last Harry Potter book, because there's a kind of relief about it that, okay, the episode's here and you can't get spoiled anymore and there's no chance of it, but it's so sad to see the kind of death of a character, and they really did play up the whole death part of it and the fear of it and kind of the age and inevitability of it. I think it was done really well. I don't know where to begin. I'm just going to put some thoughts out there. It was a dying man kind of throughout. I like the humour of it at the beginning, especially when the worst rescue ever, when he's strapped into the kind of trolley thing and he bumps down. I liked the whole dynamic with the Time Lords and the Master and the Doctor. I think that was really well done. I think it was a risk that that could have gone either way. A lot of people might have said that it was like a useless storyline, they just brought it back and then took it away again. But I think it was done brilliantly, because the whole Time War storyline is very much 9th and 10th Doctor. It's very much the Russell T Davies era, and you do wonder like how terrible they must have been for the Doctor to kill these two big races. Like you understand that the Daleks are terrible, but the Time Lords, you think, can they really be that bad that the man who would never ever dream of killing anyone would kill entire races and become that broken man that you see as the 9th Doctor? Through explaining it to the Master, you understand it yourself. I also really liked when the Doctor was talking to, well, all the scenes between him and Wilf I just thought were just insane, like really brilliant. The scene when they're talking about the gun and Wilf is saying just one person instead of a whole human kind of race, and the Doctor says that's how the Master began, and he's so sad knowing that he can't do it. And then just seeing him hold the gun as well, that kind of parallel when he crashes through and he has the gun and he holds it at Rassilon, at the Master, and that parallel with the end of the Doctor's daughter, and he's like, I never would, and he's standing there and you believe that he's going to. I genuinely thought that he was going to do it, and I thought that would change him enough that he almost had to regenerate. And then I thought that the moment as well when with the hand of Rassilon, and I thought that was gonna be the end of him. Then I was like, no, he can't regenerate yet. And then all these times throughout, and it's so effective at suspending your disbelief that the Doctor will get through it. It was just such... I'm sorry, this is so disjointed, but there's such kind of mastery of writing that you go through this thinking, maybe it was all a massive hoax. And I know that they were joking about that on the radio the other day, but maybe it was all just a massive hoax, the most beautifully executed hoax, to completely just give the media a slap and take back the elements of suspense from TV, and just, I believe that. And then the simplest of things, that 4 knocks and you turn and the camera moves so slowly and you see that it's Wilf, and it's something so, they were talking about this in Confidential, that it was so small and so almost silly after all that he's done to be the radiation, like something so tiny like that to be the end of the Doctor. I don't know, the whole episode had me like in having all these sharp intakes of breath, because I just thought it was just I literally just can't even talk about it, which is great. Like, why am I vlogging about it, to be honest, if I can't talk about it or think about it? I don't think I've let my thoughts kind of settle yet. But when he kind of has that big tirade at Wilf, and you see how scared he is, and then he says, it's my honour, and Wilf's just so noble and so brave and so good, a true Gryffindor if I ever saw one, and this man who's so scared, even though he has like another kind of, he can regenerate, he's so scared, and he goes in anyway because that's who he is. He's the doctor, he heals people, he saves people. And that acting, when he, this is going to be a weird video. When the doctor was in that kind of little glassy room thing absorbing the radiation, and they just zoom on his hand, like, David Tennant acts with every atom in his body, and it is amazing. It's amazing. Like, the pain on his face, but right through to his fingertips. And he just, like, I was sobbing. I mean, I was sobbing, to be honest, from the second the titles came on, because I was just like, it's the last time that we're going to see David Tennant in the title sequence of Doctor Who. And, God, I was blown away by that. Okay, well, next, let's run through it quickly. When he says that he was going to get his reward, I thought that was gorgeous. Funny in some ways, seeing Martha and Mickey, which was just like, what? But it worked somehow, and they knew, the fact that they knew that this was his end, and everyone kind of just knew. When they go to Donna's wedding, and there's that frame of him walking back to the TARDIS, behind all these gravestones, it's like, you know that he's a dying man, and in many ways that he's a dead man again. It's just a reminder throughout the episode, throughout. I was scared that they would mess up Rose, because, you know, I adore her, so it would have been a real disappointment if they had. And I was trying to work out in my head in those few moments as they were going through companion to companion, I mean, maybe they'll skip her out, because she got her kind of happy ending, and she has her doctor. Maybe he'll go into the other universe and just say hi and bye, but then that would ruin it as well, because she's finally settled, and she's finally kind of, fictionally, in this other world, we know that she's happy again. But to go back to the powerless state, to that moment where it all began for the 10th Doctor, and in many ways all began for the 9th Doctor as well, kind of the Doctor knocking on her door and the hand coming through and looking through the cat flap and everything like that, that was just absolute poetry. And Rose is so happy, and 2005 being a great year, and like, oh wow, I could literally want to sob just talking about it. This is, yeah, again, this is pointless. This is a crap vlog, I'm sorry. She has no idea who this strange man is, and he's about to become, like, the most important person in her life, and I just thought it was touching. He properly starts to die there. He properly starts the regeneration there. But he's moving away from it before he becomes Matt Smith. Matt Smith? The 11th Doctor. So yeah, you really get a sense that it's a new Doctor. And the last thing that I'm going to be able to squeeze in before I have to cry my eyes out and then edit this down, is the idea of walls, which I think has been a pretty amazing piece of symbolism throughout, unintentional or otherwise. That idea of kind of being trapped and confined and just sides of things, and that really played off with Wilf and the Doctor as well, when Wilf was inside doing the knocking and then the Doctor was inside kind of doing the dying almost, and just separate from everyone else, always separate, always apart, physically or otherwise. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but I just thought it was an amazing episode. I know that that's not just because I'm feeling emotional right now. That final frame of the Doctor's face when he says, "I don't want to go," appeals to, like, the most human fear of death. He kind of makes a universal fear of death. And it is a death. At the end of the day, it's a death. Okay, so let's wrap this up here. I'm going to rewatch End of Time Part 2 after I've done this, maybe after wiping off my makeup, so that I don't sob again. And this time I'm going to take some notes and things, and so hopefully I have a better constructed review to give you. Dare I say it? Alonso.